Hi everyone, welcome to the start of my Summerween TBR and vlog video. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite weeks of the year, definitely my favorite week. By the end of March until September, Summerween is my favorite week of late spring and all throughout summer. I'm not a summer girl, but I love fall and winter. If you don't know what Summerween is, it's a week-long like readathon thing hosted by Gabby Reads. I'll link her down below. She posts on bookstagram as well as her booktube channel. It goes for a week and it technically started July 5th and goes until July 12th. Right now it's July 9th. It's a Tuesday. No, it's a Wednesday. And unfortunately, when I wanted to start on July 5th, we had a big family medical emergency, so I did start reading my books, but I didn't start filming or anything until today, right now. So I'm going to extend it until Monday. So right now I have some books for my Summerween TBR that I've already finished, but I'll still show them anyways. And then I do want to do some decorating. I'm going to be making my pumpkin spice cold foam for my iced coffees. I'm gonna pull out my pumpkin spice tea. Like I said, I'm gonna decorate, so I'm very excited for that. I have a pretty wide variety of the types of books that I put on my Summerween TBR, so I'm gonna go through those. I originally had 6 books on my TBR, but since I'm extending like my Summerween until Monday or even maybe Tuesday, I'm going to be adding a few books, so I'll show those ones at the end of my TBR. Okay, first I want to show my really cute new like fall, but I'm going to be using it all year, book slash like Kindle pouch. And it has really cute pumpkins on it. It has this little button that closes. And then there's the pumpkins on the back as well. It's really big. It's kind of stretchy at the top too. It can definitely hold more than you think. I have 2 paperbacks in here. One of them is pretty small. I could definitely fit like another paperback or even just these 2 in my Kindle. I'll link the Instagram page of the woman that makes them. She's from Canada and I love these. She also has some other cute ones. I have a strawberry one of hers. And she also does bookmarks. I'm using one of her pumpkin bookmarks for one of my Summerween books, so I'll show that as well, but I just really wanted to show this first. So one of the books that was in there was Bewitched, and this one is so cute. It came out last year, I believe, and I've wanted to read it since then. I absolutely love the cover. So like I think I said, I already finished this one and it was okay. It definitely didn't live up to the hype that I had built in my own head. For the ones that I've already finished, I'll talk about those later in the vlog. Right now I'll just go through my TBR. So in this one, we have our main character, Bella. When a witch turns 30, she has to be tested on her magic and see if she's using it properly or in a way that the like elders deem good enough, I believe. And I can't believe I already read this and I'm still like struggling to remember what it's about. Bella hasn't really been using her magic very much in the last while, and so she's nervous that she's going to fail these tests and trials that the elders of the coven give to her. So she's very nervous, and then it kind of all leads up to that. It also mentions this curious witch man that is in this book, so there is also a bit of a romance in here. The next one is a horror by Grady Hendrix, and it is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. This one also has the little pumpkin bookmark on it that goes with the book sleeve, and I absolutely love it. This one I'm about halfway through, I believe, maybe just, no, I'd say I'm about halfway through. In this one, we have a group of girls in Florida. They're living in a boarding house for unwed pregnant women. It's set in, when is it set? In the 70s. So we follow our main character. Her name is Fern. It says Fern meets a librarian who gives her an occult book about witchcraft, and power is in the hands of the girls for the first time in their lives. But power can destroy as easily as it creates, and it's never given freely. There's always a price to be paid, and it's usually paid in blood. So this one is a Grady Hendrix book. So it's a bit darker in theme, but it also does have like its comedic moments, as I find most of his do, at least the ones that I've read. I'm really enjoying it so far. It was really highly anticipated for me. I can't believe I hadn't already read it yet, but I'm very happy I saved it for Summerween. The next one I am actually so excited about, and it is Welcome to Camp Nightmare. This one is a Goosebumps book. As you can see, the cover is iconic. I'm so excited to read this. I haven't read a Goosebumps book since I was like very, very little. I don't even know if I read like more than 1 or 2 when I was younger. I don't really remember reading them, but I did really like the TV show. Our main character is Billy, and he is sent to Camp Nightmoon. But then some of his fellow campers start disappearing. Some of the counselors are a little weird, and his parents stop responding to his letters. I love this last line of the blurb. It says, Camp Nightmoon is turning into Camp Nightmare. Something strange is happening, and Billy's in the middle of it. It's very, very short, so I don't think that I'm gonna have a problem finishing this one. I think the font is probably, yeah, the font is also very big. So this should be like a very quick, easy breezy read, and I'm really looking forward to kind of getting back into a Goosebumps book, and I'm wondering if maybe it'll be something that I want to continue to do. Next, I have The Ghostwriter, and this one I was super excited for. Highly anticipated for me. I've heard nothing but good things. I think the average rating on Goodreads right now is like 4.15 or something. This one I did already finish. I think I read it in like less than a day. I was absolutely obsessed with it. I flew through it. We have our main character Olivia, and she's the daughter of Vincent Taylor. Vincent Taylor is interesting because he's very mysterious about his past to Olivia and to everyone in the world. He's a very famous author. When he was a teenager, his brother and sister were killed in their home when no one else was home. He's never talked about it. He was kind of seen as a suspect by the small town that he's in, and he never moved away. But then when he was older, he did become a very famous author. His daughter is now a ghostwriter, and she ghostwrites a lot of memoirs. She's got no contact with her dad for like a very long time, and then he commissions her to ghostwrite his memoir. There's a lot of mystery in this one between her not even really knowing about her dad's past. Like, he never really talked about it. Her mom left them when she was very young. I think she was in kindergarten. So this one was very highly anticipated for me, and yeah, I'll talk about it more later. I have two graphic novels. The first one is Fangs, and this one I absolutely adore the cover. It's cloth bound. I actually don't know anything about this one other than the fact that it's about vampires, but I knew I wanted to read it really badly. The illustrations on the inside are really fun and interesting. It's also very short, and I'm really looking forward to just kind of throwing a graphic novel into the mix. I also have another one, but it's across the room, so I just have to go grab it. So I just grabbed the graphic novel, and it is called The Old Willis Place. I'm really looking forward to this one. I love like a creepy, spooky middle grade or YA graphic novel. This one is also very short. The illustration and color style is also very cute in this one. I'm really excited to read it. I actually don't know anything about this one. I'm assuming it's some sort of haunted house, the Old Willis Place. It looks kind of like a haunted mansion situation, and I love all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm just very excited to read this one. I had also picked up the sequel to Ravenfall, which is called Hollowthorn, I think. Yes. Hollowthorn. However, when I started reading it, I very quickly realized this is set in the winter during like the winter holidays. So I'm gonna save this one for like November and December because I am really excited to continue with the series. Also, like I mentioned, since I'm extending Summerween until Monday or Tuesday, I'm probably gonna add 2 more books to my TBR. One of them is The Woman in Suite 11. This is the sequel to The Woman in Cabin 10. I think it came out like 10 years ago, and this one is a very highly anticipated, hyped up sequel. I'm really looking forward to reading it. I'm about 100 pages in right now, which is chapter 10, and I'm really, really liking it. I'm liking it more than the first one even. So I'm excited to keep going with this one and see how it goes. Oh, and then I'll give a brief little description of what it's about. I'm not going to go into it too much just because it is a sequel. But in this one, we follow the main character from The Woman in Cabin 10, Lo Blacklock, and she is like a travel journalist, travel reporter. So we're following her again. In the first one, she went through a bunch of like traumatic, dramatic experiences on one of her like work trips doing like travel stuff. In this one, we have her back going on a trip for a job, and we're just going to kind of see how that one unfolds for her this time. Lastly, I have Practical Rules for Cursed Witches. I don't know why I can't say this title. And this one I have started also, but I'm only like 50 pages in. It's very interesting so far in a good way. I'm really enjoying it. We have our main character Delilah, and she is half witch. Her mom isn't, but her dad is. However, her dad has been absent her whole life. She has a family curse where when a man falls in love with a woman in her family, he instantly forgets about her, which sounds absolutely awful. And so her dad like doesn't even really remember her mom, and Delilah hasn't like gotten in contact with him at all or anything. And in this world, when a witch reaches a certain age, there's like a calling where some of the elders come, and she has to pick some sort of like trial or issue that she's going to solve with her magic. So like I said, I'm about 50 pages into this one, and I am really enjoying it so far. So that is it for my Summerween TBR. I'm going to catch up with you guys in a little bit where I can kind of update you on the books that I've already read and what I thought of them. Like I already said a few times, I'm going to decorate. I'm just really excited to finally get this going now that we've got a handle on the medical emergency, and I cannot wait to film this video and do all of these things. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Now Friday, I was able to read a bunch on Wednesday night and Thursday, so I have quite a few updates. I was hoping to update before now while I was like in the middle of some of the books, but I did type up some notes like as I was reading a few of them. So I'm just gonna kind of share the ones that I've read, what I thought about them, star rating, stuff like that, and then I'll go over the ones that I'm in the middle of reading right now. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, one of the books that I was able to finish once Summerween had already started, but before I was able to start filming, was Bewitched, and this one I gave 3 stars. This was a really anticipated read for me. Like I said, I had been wanting to pick it up since last year, and I finally got around to it. It didn't totally live up to the hype for me. I found it a bit surface level. The characters, I wanted a bit more from them. I feel like it could have been fleshed out just a little bit more. This one is like a cozy fantasy, and I love cozy fantasy, so it's not a problem of me not liking the cozy fantasy genre, because I find some people don't like certain cozy fantasy books just because they don't love like the cozy fantasy aspect. But for this one, I really love the genre, and I think I want a bit more from like the characters, from the plot. There's also a bit of a romance in this one, and I found I did not connect with the romance at all. I didn't really care for it just because I felt like we didn't really know the love interest pretty much at all. Like, I don't really think we got enough about him or really in depth about the romance aspect, but I would still recommend this if you like cozy fantasy, especially kind of like witchy books. It definitely has like the finding yourself type of trope, turning 30, that kind of thing, and I really enjoy those tropes. There is a sequel coming out soon, and I will still be picking it up. This was her debut novel, and I think it had a lot of promise. I think this was maybe a case of how highly I anticipated this book, so I was let down maybe more than I would have been if I had read it when it was just released, or if there wasn't like so much hype around it. The next one that I finished before I started filming is The Ghostwriter, and this one I gave 4.5 stars. I don't want to get too much into this one just because I barely knew anything going in, other than the daughter is very well known for ghostwriting very famous people's memoirs and just like having bestsellers. And then her dad is also a famous author for fiction, and when he was a teenager, his brother and sister were like slaughtered in their family home. Only him and his parents survived. Reading this book, I was like truly on the edge of my seat. There's multiple points of view. It's a dual timeline situation, which I absolutely loved. It was all very much like mysterious. I was only right about one prediction for one of the twists in this one, but even that didn't really affect how I felt about the book overall. It didn't impact my enjoyment of reading this or like how entertained I was. I would really recommend The Ghostwriter. I've heard nothing but amazing things, and it definitely lived up to the hype for me. And then either Wednesday night or yesterday, I finished The Woman in Suite 11, and like I said, this is the sequel to The Woman in Cabin 10, which came out 10 years ago. This was a pretty good sequel. I did really enjoy it. It was very predictable, I found. For the most part, I didn't want to put this down, but I did find certain parts, I think there was like some pacing issues just because I found myself getting a bit bored. I don't think it needs to be quite as long as it was, just because some of the pacing issues, some things were like very drawn out, very slow, kind of boring, but not in a slow way where it's leading up to something. It was just slow. And then some things happen like way too quickly. I have like certain examples, but I don't want to say them obviously because they're spoilers, but I would still recommend this one, especially if you liked The Woman in Cabin 10. I like this one more. And I'm really curious to see if there's going to be a third following our main character, Lo Blacklock. Another one that I finished reading is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, and this one I gave 3 stars. The first like third was really good. I absolutely loved it. And then up until like the last 15% maybe, I was really kind of bored and just kind of like very like, what am I even reading right now, but not in like a good way. I find with his books, especially the one that's about like the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, I think it's called, maybe something like that, and then My Best Friend's Exorcism, those ones are also very like, what am I even reading? What did I just read? This is very weird, but I absolutely loved them. This one is more just like, what am I reading here? What's going on? But then the last like 15-10% I did really like. I think if it wasn't for how much I liked the last 15%, I would have maybe not even have given it 3 stars. It's also very big, and I don't think it needed to be. The majority of it that was very like, what am I reading, was kind of drawn out, way too long. There was way too many detailed aspects that I don't think needed to be like that detailed. And I also found it was very repetitive. So this one I would recommend if you like Grady Hendrix. I saw a ton of people that I'm friends with on Goodreads absolutely loved it. There's a lot of like 4 and 5 star reviews. So I'd say if you like Grady Hendrix already, give it a go. If you haven't read Grady Hendrix yet and you're wanting to get into his books, I wouldn't start with this one. I still haven't started these 2 graphic novels, but I am very excited to read them. I think I'm going to read Fangs tonight, or this one, or maybe both. I'm not sure, but we're going out of town in a few hours just to stay with family for 2 nights. So I'm going to bring both, and I'm hoping to get to them this weekend. And then I'm just over 60% of the way through this Goosebumps Welcome to Camp Nightmare. I'm really liking it. It's really fun. It's spooky, but not scary because it's middle grade. I'm wondering if I would be scared if I was like the intended age. I think I would be actually, like I think I would actually be pretty scared, but it's very fun. It's very fast paced. It's pretty short, so I mean it has to be kind of fast paced, but I am having a lot of fun with this one. I did start Night Watcher. It came out a few days ago and I'm reading it on my Kindle. I'm really liking it. The premise is something that I would absolutely love, and I'm 28% of the way through and I'm absolutely hooked. The Goodreads synopsis is kind of long, so I didn't read all of it just because when there's a thriller and the Goodreads synopsis is pretty long, I just don't want to read all of it because there's way too much information that I don't want to know before I go into it. In this one we have our main character Nola. She lives in Portland, Oregon. She's a late night talk show host and she gets calls in from people about hauntings and cryptic sightings. However, in her past when she was younger, she managed to escape a serial killer, but now she's starting to feel like she's being stalked and followed, and she's just like feeling very on edge. That's all I know so far. That's all I read of the synopsis. And 28% in, I know more than that, but I don't want to say any of it. And I do really like this one. Like I already said, I'm very excited to keep going with it. I think it's gonna be a very quick read and it's very much up my alley. And then lastly, just as like a quick little update, I haven't read any more of this one, Practical Rules for Cursed Witches. I'm still only like 55 pages in, but I'm excited to keep going with it. I think it'll be a fun one to read while I'm away this weekend. And I'm hoping to update more as I go. I think with some of these books, it would have been really fun to give updates as I was going, especially with The Woman in Suite 11 and the Grady Hendrix book. So this was just like a quick little update, and I'll check in later when I have some more to update. Hi everyone, Summerween is now over, so I'm going to go over some of the books that I was in the middle of in the last clip and tell you kind of how they turned out for me. The first one I'm going to talk about is Night Watcher, and this one I gave 3.25 stars. I found this one to be good but not great. The ending was just kind of okay. I did have fun reading it, but I feel like maybe the story and the characters weren't super fleshed out. It felt kind of surface level. I love the premise a lot. I think it had a lot of potential, but it just didn't really hit for me the way I thought it might. I felt like there was a lot going on, but at the same time, like not much was happening, which is kind of what I mean by it wasn't super fleshed out. It felt like on the surface, there were so many different things going on. There was so much potential for different storylines to be more fleshed out. I feel like there was almost too much going on. I just wish that some of the plot lines were expanded on a little bit more. I'm trying to be kind of vague so that I'm not giving too much away. I think it was a great debut novel. It had a lot of potential, and I did for the most part enjoy the writing. My reading doesn't have a lot to do with the actual like writing or writing style. It was more just, I just wish there was a bit less going on and a bit more detail on like a smaller amount of plot lines, if that makes sense. Next, I have the Goosebumps book that I was reading, which is Welcome to Camp Nightmare, and this one was so much fun. I didn't give this one a rating just because it is like so short that I wasn't really sure what to rate it. I gasped, I kind of laughed, I was just like so caught off guard, but in such a good way. I had so much fun reading this one, and I'm hoping that I can pick up another 1 or 2 of the Goosebumps books this fall. Next, I read The Old Willis Place, and this one I absolutely loved. It's marketed as a middle grade, but I was surprised with some of the dark themes and storylines in this one that it was marketed as middle grade. I don't have a lot to say about this one just because it is a middle grade graphic novel, but I had a ton of fun reading it. I love the illustration and artwork style, and I found it was the perfect, like kind of creepy, pretty spooky, kind of scary, I want to say cozy nighttime read, but it wasn't super cozy, but it felt kind of cozy, if that makes any sense. Lastly, I read Fangs, and this one was such a surprise. I had no idea what to expect going into it, and it definitely was not what I ended up getting, but I absolutely loved it. It's almost like a series of just like 2 or 3 page little short clips from our 2 main characters. We have our female main character who's a vampire and the love interest who is a werewolf. And it just kind of shows the progression of their relationship. And it has so many funny moments. I was actually so surprised. There was a few where I like laughed out loud. There was some corny jokes in here that I then told one of my friends because I actually thought they were just so dumb but funny. And I would really recommend this if you like graphic novels because it just absolutely exceeded my expectations. Okay, so that was the last of the ones that I've read. An update on the Practical Rules for Cursed Witches book. I sadly didn't get to finish this one. I'm not very far into it still. I'm hoping that I can finish this one up in August or even September. It is very cozy. I'm just kind of surprised by how long it is because I don't know if this storyline needs to be this long at all. This is definitely like a very slow read. It's not very fast paced, at least not yet. I think I might be going in the direction of being fast paced, but for now it's been very slow. And I am very interested in the storyline and the plot, and I'm pretty invested in seeing where it goes and how things end up. So I am still planning to finish this one. So that is it for Summerween of 2025. I had so much fun. I'm very excited that I was able to extend it and still participate, even though I had to start a few days late. I cannot wait for fall. I am probably gonna decorate around the first week of August for more fall things. I have a few like fall and Halloween things put up, but I'm probably gonna take down the Halloween and put up some more fall and keep up the fall that I already have. I struggle pretty hard in the summer, so I'm hoping that if I bring out some fall decorations around the first week of August, it'll help me kind of be a bit more cheerful and kind of easier to transition into fall. I'm gonna start planning some fall video ideas and my fall TBR. I'm just gonna kind of get in the spirit, get in the mood. We're currently in a heat wave where I live, so it might be a bit difficult, but we're gonna hope for the best. I have air conditioning, so hopefully that can help me kind of pretend it's fall. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate every single one of you who watches my videos, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.